Hey friend, Jen Gottlieb here, the host of The Jen Gottlieb Show, where you can find powerful episodes that will leave you inspired to dream big and live boldly. If you're ready to create change in your life, this podcast is a must listen. Be ready to laugh, learn, and take action to become who you were always meant to be. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and live your best life, one dare at a time. So join me and listen to The Jen Gottlieb Show wherever you get your podcasts. See you there.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, your besties with a literary podcast that deep dives into your favorite novels. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy, and we're currently taking a break from our season of Aquarius Book Club to talk to Liz Shipton, author of Dot/Magic.
Liz is a writer and off-grid, live-aboard sailor who travels the high seas with her partner and dog. Her books explore themes adjacent to mental health, the loneliness epidemic, addiction, tech creep, climate change, and the looming collapse of society, like in a fun way. Welcome, Liz.
Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you.
Yes. It took us a long time to get this scheduled. That's our fault. We are so glad that we're here today because we have so many feelings.
So there's no way to have this conversation without spoilers. So if no one's actually read this book yet, like, we're going to talk spoilers. And a lot of times our listeners like to listen to these interviews before they read the book because they like to get vibes and they like spoilers. This is the only time I will ever tell anyone, don't go read it. Come back.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Amy finished it before I did. I genuinely can't even imagine the last time you did this to a book was texting me, what part are you at? All right, how much time do you have left? Where are you now? What's going on now?
I want to have a conversation as soon as you finish.
Yeah. Can you call me when you're done? Hey, I know this is too much, but how much time do you have left? Like, it was.
I was on my drive home yesterday and I was like, so can we talk yet? And she made me wait.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, so you guys just finished reading it, or Jack, you just finished reading it?
Amy finished it a while ago.
Yeah, I read it a while ago.
I was busy, I'm sorry. But then
Oh, no, I just think it's funny because, yeah, you definitely, if you've literally just read it, I can definitely see you be like, what?
I have a lot of fresh emotions, Liz. I got a lot of fresh thoughts.
That's great.
I got a lot of things to work through. Amy coached me through it. So I'll start with the first question. Okay, the development of Seven as an FMC. And I want to talk about the reader shift in perspective and regarding her. I want to say this is one of the best developments that I've ever seen an author do when it comes to getting a reader to be on board with Seven. And I've never, and I say this with so much love because I do love Seven by the end of the book. But boy golly, at that first start of the book, I've never actually had visceral reactions where I'm like, girl, you got to get this together. But Seven, first time, I read a lot of books, but Seven is the first time that I actually was encountered a character where I was like, wait, am I struggling with you right now? But alas, by the end of it, I was so on board with her and truly impressive. What was it like as the author writing from her perspective? Was she difficult for you to connect to, or did you know who she was going to be and kind of grow into? And did you always kind of have a soft spot for her? Because I guess if you know where she's going, you'd have that soft spot. But God, those first 5 chapters, I was like, Seven, you're killing me here.
That's really funny. So, I mean, all of my main characters are probably like that, honestly, because they're all just sort of me.
No, I like you. Dang it.
But so, I don't think I intentionally made her terrible at the beginning. I think I just sort of that's, I mean, I don't know. What does that say about me? I don't know. But for me, it's easy to connect to her because, yeah, a lot of that is just me, the cynical sort of I don't know what I'm doing. And that all that stuff genuinely is just kind of me. And also me wanting to read characters that are more like that. Because I feel sometimes, especially in fantasy books, that an FMC is sort of very selfless. I don't know. Maybe I just like haven't read enough because I don't read, honestly, a ton of like fantasy. And so what I have read, I always find that these FMCs are sort of like, they struggle, but not because of their own fault. They're always in situations where it's like, oh, you're struggling because you're poor or you are in a bad system or whatever. And I like to write MCs who sort of like bring all their problems on themselves because that's, I guess, what I can relate to because I'm very good at doing that.
Well, I think, and this gets into one of our questions later and gets into kind of spoilers, but it's so humanizing because a lot of people bring their own problems upon themselves. And I thought it was a breath of fresh air. You know, Jack and I read characters that are meant to be unlikable, but we like them anyway. I liked Seven from the get-go, but I was like, girl, you've got problems. You need to go to therapy. But I appreciated that about her.
Yeah. I think the way you said it was spot on of like, there's a certain, I don't want to call other FMCs passiveness, but like life kind of happens to them and they're struggling to get by it. But like Seven has like a good upbringing, has like good family, good support. So like, what's the like struggling part? And that is such a much more human connection and a human moment to have with the character where it's like, okay, you have all the tools to get you through life, but like, what's the thing holding you back? And it's like some of the own things that she's coping with. It is funny because like by the end of it, I was like, I swear to God, Amy, if this ends up being like her humanity is her sense of humor, and I get that, and that's how I feel, like I was like, I'm gonna relate to her again, aren't I? I'm gonna this is gonna speak volumes at the end, isn't it?
Awesome. Yeah, that is, I'm really glad that came through because what you said, that is sort of how I approach a lot of my MCs actually, which is like you do sort of have the tools but there's something else. I guess I'm more motivated by like, what is a character struggling with internally? What is it internally that makes their life difficult? And a lot of it is like mental health stuff usually.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, what are the external things that are making your life difficult? Because I feel like there are a lot of books already that sort of deal with like, what are the external things that are making your life difficult? And so I don't feel I needed to write that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do a good job differentiating that because really at the end of the day, Seven, her actions are the result of her unwillingness to work on her mental health or her avoidance of it. And, you know, that cascades down to her inability to communicate clearly, assuming everyone understands her.
Yeah.
That, you know, I saw it happening as it was happening and it gave me pain, but it's just like seeing it happen to a friend or someone else in your life or even yourself, seeing it happen in real time. So I could, despite how uncomfortable it made me, I could not stop reading. I was like, I have to know what chaos is about to come.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I don't think I ever, I never intentionally make like an unlikable character. I do hope to make compelling characters, like that you would just want to keep reading.
That's what it is. I think it's visceral. Like, if I disliked her, I wouldn't care about the mistakes that she'd be making, right? Like, if I just was so blasé about her, I wouldn't be sitting here just screaming to myself, like, Seven, no, Seven, don't do that, don't say that. But, like, to have that, to get that visceral reaction. But it also means, like, every single time she would put herself out there, like when she told Logan a little something about herself, if she like reached out, it felt so monumental. Like you could feel how hard it would be for her to say like, actually, I am in danger, or actually this thing did happen. And you can see these moments of progression with her. And those moments hit so much more because it didn't become like, oh, thank God, just tell him. And it was like, okay, actually, I felt that how hard that was for you. And I'm proud of you. Yeah.
It's funny because I think a lot of times people are picking up on things that maybe I don't even realize I'm writing. But then when you articulate it, I'm like, yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of like, I don't know how to say it, natural talent that was like snuck in here because there's some like things where I was like, oh shit, she's good. Like I want the hardback. I want the special edition. I want this book in every form.
Oh, good to know. I'll try to make them make that.
Yeah. I think we all should.
Yeah, Jack and I were talking last night, and I hope in 50 years they are studying this book in school. Like, that's how I feel about this book.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass about that. I genuinely think you've achieved something really brilliant here. And, when you talk about hoping you're writing compelling characters, each of your characters is very compelling. Each of them, I feel like I've met at some point in my lifetime. And I think that's because I'm assuming you have a really clear grasp on their intentions, their drive. And so, from a craft perspective, because Jack and I are writers, we have a lot of aspiring writers who listen to the podcast. From a crafting perspective, how do you keep track of everybody's motivations, and how do you really nail it so that you understand that character and the reader understands that character?
Okay, you guys are not going to like this answer. I don't really. It's all just up here. Here's what I think. I do think that when you're creating characters that are very different from each other, it's easier to track them. You kind of set out to intentionally be I would like, I did go into this book thinking I would like to have a diverse cast of characters, and not just in the way of we want a Black person and a Latina person, in the terms of their motivations and their habits and the way they look and everything is diverse about them. And when you do that, it's easier because you're well, that's Angel. And so I know exactly what they look like and I know exactly what they are. Okay, well, that's Soul. And, so it's I don't do a lot of, in terms of craft and what I do, I always do the 15 beats, which is I think from Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I plot out the book plot-wise very much like that. And then I go through and I kind of bullet point every chapter. But in terms of characters, I will usually have an idea of just a very superficial idea of what they look like, really. And then kind of they come together as the book comes together. And even also with 7, as much as I do plot quite extensively, there's always so much that changes. And there's always, especially with this book, there was a lot of all the plot twists and stuff that you guys probably think I planned. I definitely a lot of it is going back and reverse engineering stuff, because I'll get to a point and be oh, you know what I could do? I could totally do this and I could connect these two things together. And then you have to go back 8 chapters and then you kind of have to rewrite 8 chapters worth of, little bits and pieces to make it all kind of come together. And I do the same thing with characters. So it's as the character kind of develops throughout the book, you're oh, that's a thing. And I could put in chapter 2, I could go back and I could add a little bit there about, how she does that or whatever. So a lot of it kind of comes together organically. In terms of character and stuff, I don't do a ton of planning up front, except for just having a sort of general idea.
Well, no, I appreciate your candidness about that, because I think one fallacy I've always told myself is that published authors have it more together than I do. And what this does is it reaffirms
absolutely not.
The common experience of sometimes it doesn't matter how much you plan, things change as you write, your characters speak to you because they have their own thoughts and ways of handling things. And you do have to go back and revise and make it work. And that's a lot of work you can't avoid.
Yeah. And it's always, you can kind of feel it. You'll get to a point, or for me at least, I'll get to a point and I'll be I think I have to go back and you kind of 2 days, I'll just pretend that I don't have to do that. And then eventually I always just do. And it's always better when you do that. So, yeah.
That's so funny. I think also, dare I say,
I'm at that age where I'm willing to try anything just for the sake of wellness. And Brello makes finding the right metabolic wellness support easy.
I've been on a GLP-1 for 8 months now. It's been one of the best things that I have done for me. Getting connected to a provider who can give guidance for a GLP-1 can be tricky, but Brello has made the whole experience so straightforward. I knew when I started a GLP-1, I wanted something that was a more sustainable approach to metabolic wellness, and I needed to focus on habits, education, and structure alongside provider insight. And that provider insight is what Brello has offered.
Brello provides transparent pricing with one flat monthly cost. GLP-1 plans start as low as $133 per month with a 3-month commitment.
Brello provides access to a private online community for support and accountability.
I love that they have built-in virtual wellness classes because they range from exercise to nutrition to mindfulness, all of which is important to the metabolic journey.
Brello also has an easy-to-use app to track progress, manage reminders, and stay on top of renewals.
Go to BrelloHealth.com today to see if you qualify. Use the promo code BOOKTALK, BOOKTALK, at checkout to get your first 3 months for $133 per month.
That's BrelloHealth.com and use promo code BOOKTALK, BOOKTALK. All patients must meet with a healthcare provider prior to any medication being prescribed or dispensed. Any medications ultimately dispensed to a patient will be done pursuant to a valid prescription from a healthcare provider. Compounded drug products are not FDA approved. FDA does not evaluate compounded products for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Compounded medications are not reviewed or verified by the FDA for safety, effectiveness, or quality, and are not FDA approved. Not available in all 50 states. Again, we've warned you guys, like, spoilers, but, this is the first big one. And that goes into, like, your full enriched cast, is the fact that Seven was never the main character and that she is the side character. And, like, when Amy and I talked about it, she's like, she did the thing I always wanted to do, write the story about the side character. And because you're kind of giving value to a side character, I think that naturally gives value to all the other side characters, because you're kind of going into this saying, hey, even a side character has value, which means, well, what are the side characters to the side characters? There's also value there too. It's just a rippling. And then it's almost like, do all humans matter? Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, I think yes is the answer.
I know. I'm gonna go on a limb and say, people matter. Although I guess that doesn't really count here because they're not humans. I don't know. That was Did you not know that that's where that was going to go?
So I did know that.
Was that a question that we had, or was that today?
When I very first started, no. And actually, when I very first started, this is a completely different book. It was going to be a YA book about a girl who has grown up at sea.
Oh.
Maybe your readers don't know, or your listeners, I'm sorry, don't know, but I live on a boat with my partner. We're in the Caribbean right now. So the original idea was a girl, she's like 17, she's grown up on a boat. She has to go back and reintegrate into an American high school, and hijinks and hilarity ensue. So the whole AI thing, I had this like maybe 15 chapters or something of that like YA manuscript. And then I started really thinking about AI, and I was like, well, can I shoehorn AI into this like thing that I've already started writing? And so then I started sort of like finagling it, and I wanted there to be like some kind of big reveal. And I remember actually I read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I love all his books, but I forget exactly what it was about that book that helped me figure out what the plot twist was, or what the main plot twist was, I guess, which is that we're all in a computer. Spoiler alert, sorry. But yeah, it was that book, actually, Never Let Me Go, that I read that book. And I literally, after I closed it, I was like, I know. I know what happens.
That must have been such a fun moment where you're just like, holy shit, this is all fake. It's a simulation.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting moment. But yeah, side characters, I still can't remember what exactly I wanted to say about that. Oh, wait, yes, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
It's that I think the similar thing to what I was saying before, which is like when you make them all very different and you make everyone very distinct and very unique and have their own voice, then like everyone can be the funniest person in the room, right? Like there's no funny sidekick or whatever, because everyone's voice has something about it that is funny or that is different or that is interesting or whatever. So like, and then you can give, and like, oh, okay, I know like a great joke for Angel, or like, oh, I know a great thing that Soul would say that'd be pretty funny, like Logan or whoever. So yeah, I think again, it's just developing very distinctive characters for personalities for all your characters.
They're distinctive, that's for sure. I had a lot of feelings about Soul going on in there too. I was like, Soul, just, it all hurt. It all hurt so good. It hurt so good. I love it. Okay, so I want to go a little bit back to the AI conversation, because AI is such a polarizing topic right now, especially when it comes to books and creativity. And you really tackle it head on in this novel and discuss the nuance of it while still saying like, hey, we need to celebrate art. to what extent was that nuance the spark? I mean, you already kind of talked about like a different spark of the story, but when it comes to the AI side of the conversation, what part of that, the spark that inspired the story versus something that developed naturally when it comes to AI coexisting in a world of magic?
Yeah. So, I mean, my background, again, this is all just me. I grew up doing a lot of music, playing music, being in theater. So, a lot of that theater stuff that's in the book is all just, I did a lot of that. And then at a certain point, got tired of being a broke musician and I taught myself to code and I went into software and I spent 5 years in tech. So, all of this stuff is stuff that I sort of personally been through and thought about a lot, especially like the intersection, I guess, of like art and
Yeah.
technology. So, and when I started, and I think maybe this is why Seven came out as like such a cynical a hole, was that when I started writing the book, I was still, this was like a few years ago, I was like pretty fresh out of tech. I had just quit to like start sailing and I was still very much like in that world. And I really wanted to come at it from like a pro AI stance. I was kind of like, all these authors are so annoying. They just don't understand. Like technology is fine, blah, 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 blah. And then through the course of writing the book, my point of view changed. And so I think that like influenced Seven obviously a lot because I think that's sort of what her like journey is in terms of like the AI side of things is she starts out very much sort of like pro and then by the end of the book I wouldn't say the book is necessarily anti. I think it's more like, hey, this is complicated and we should all be thinking about it.
Yeah, I think the AI conversation is very nuanced. Like, do I want AI reading everyone's books without authors' permissions and spewing out content that's plagiarized? No. But there's also a lot of use to AI. Like, is it bad for the environment? Yes. But is there potential of being good and getting people? I have a friend who's like did a whole dissertation on like the uses of AI and getting medical evaluations to people much faster and in a more accessible way where it's like, well, yeah, now you have like this world of information that's more accessible to everyone. And, what level of gatekeeping is that? Because we want to keep knowledge only to, elite people. So, but at the same time, like, but creativity is so important. So I really feel like in this world with this conversation of AI and, progress and wanting to go forward, and then with, books and everything, I feel like you handled that nuance really, really well.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah. And what I love about the conversation, not only about AI, but just in the context of maybe the hero's journey or the sidekick hero's journey, is that we need to be accountable and responsible for our actions, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes there isn't enough accountability on the part of the good side in novels. And I feel like your /magic has done such a good job of opening people's eyes to, we have a responsibility, whether we want that responsibility or not, whether that be to our, our peers, our friends, or the wider world. And I really, really enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah, I think for me, I always kind of come at it from a like, the technology is not the problem, the people are the problem, right? Like, obviously, like you guys are saying, there's so many applications for AI that are great. The problem really at the moment is more like capitalism run amok and like OpenAI and companies like that and Google and the big seven. And like, that's kind of really the problem. But then again, we're all kind of using it, or like people who are using it are also sort of the problem. Like, we're all kind of the problem, right? I'm definitely part of the problem. I'm on TikTok every day, forcing my content algorithmically down everyone's throat. So
I get
like,
it.
what do you do? Yeah.
My day
hard.
job is in marketing and I run paid media ads and I know what I'm doing. I know I'm part of like, like I run meta ads and I know what it is and the algorithm and it's just like, oh no, we have your data, we have your info. I'm part of the problem, but I also need to eat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think, and a lot of this book is, I mean, a lot of it I think is not even necessarily a comment on AI. A lot of it was sort of my comment on social media because right around the time that I started writing this or shortly thereafter is right when I went viral on TikTok with all those videos. And we don't have to get into a whole conversation about how much I hate TikTok, but yeah, a lot of just feeling sort of exploited by that company, and there's no customer support, there's no nothing, and like this is people's employer now. Like
Yeah.
that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sort of that. Plus the loneliness epidemic. Plus like, which I kind of get into a little bit in ./magic, right? It's like Seven is obviously a very lonely person, and that's the kind of person that like is going to get corrupted by AI or like sucked into social media, doom scrolling, like all that kind of stuff.
This is not part of any question or conversation, but like when I realized that the cat did in fact code the computer, I
Yes.
was like, this is the funniest. I have to say, your humor came
It's so
out
stupid.
in full force at the end. Ethernet. I'm going to be thinking about
Yeah.
Ethernet forever. Like that's it was. I mean, I kept being like, well, of course it's her magic. Like her magic is the thing that coded it because her magic is joy and the joy she finds in coding. The cat did it.
No. Yeah, I think, I don't know, that again is one of those things that honestly, a lot of the time, I think major plot points in my book develop out of just jokes or me just writing a stupid thing and being like, oh, Ethernet, that's pretty funny. And now, so I just finished writing book 2, and like the ether is a huge, it has become this like whole thing in the book that like I genuinely, just because I wrote, oh, Ethernet, that's pretty funny. Just, and the same with the cat, like walking on the keyboard. I was like, oh, cats, yeah, they like invented the internet. Wouldn't it be funny if the cat like so
That's
stupid,
so,
but like
it was so freaking funny. And then his comment, do you know how hard that was with pause?
Yeah.
Like, it was, yeah, I think like your humor came out in full force at the end, and it was so fucking funny. Like just like everything with like the plot twists, and then I was like, this is like just the Ethernet. Ether is the Ethernet is so funny.
I'm really glad, because that was honestly like when I was writing that, and especially with the cat having like been the kind of the catalyst for all of this, I was like, people are not going to buy this. Like it's sort of like borders on believability of like, it's not quite like, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And whatever, hopefully by that point, everyone's on board.
I mean, yeah, I think you introduced it at the right time, right?
Yeah.
If we found out before she basically left the mainframe, that would be harder to get on board with. But I think the leap is easy by the time we're
once
in front of
by the time you've gone through 3
Yeah.
chapters worth of plot twists. Yeah.
Yeah. Grab a snack, stretch your legs, and listen to this while we plot our next move.
I went out for coffee today, and my colleague, who I haven't seen in a while, looked at my shoes and said, oh my God, are those Vionics? True story.
Which Vionics were you wearing?
I was wearing my Uptown sneakers.
Vionics are designed for your comfort, but also for style. I wore a different pair of heels last night and regretted it instantly because I did not have my VI Very Intelligent Dress Ramona heels, and I was suffering last night just dreaming about my VI.
Wearing my Uptown sneakers to work because not only are they stylish and go with my outfits, but I can use my walking pad for hours while I'm at my desk.
Vionics' exclusive BioMotion technology is what sets them apart. They began by revolutionizing medical orthotics. Today, they continue to use that science to engineer shoes that leave you feeling energized and confident all day.
They even offer a 30-day guarantee. Wear them, love them, or return them for a full refund within 30 days, but I don't think you're going to.
They even make the online shopping experience so easy, arguably too easy. My cart is quite full.
Same. Use the code BOOKTALK at checkout for 15% off your entire order at VionicShoes.com. When you log into your account, it is a one-time use only.
Vionic shoes, wearable well-being for your feet. One of my confessions is that in my 20s, I got docked with overdraft fees all of the time.
The pain of my 20s and overdraft fees.
If we had Chime, everything would have been different.
That's because Chime isn't just another banking app. They unlock smarter banking for everyday people like you and me with products like MyPay.
It's not like old school banks that charge you for overdraft fees or monthly fees. It's built for you, the person, not the 1%.
They even give you access for up to $500 of your paycheck anytime and getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. And some of those old banks still don't do this.
I didn't even know it was an option until the Chime.
Chime helps you build your credit history stress-free because you're using your cash to build that credit.
Earn up to 3% APY on savings. Also, you guys don't understand how great that is because it is 7 times higher than traditional banks. Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who already bank fee-free today.
It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/booktalk. That's chime.com/BOOKTALK.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/feesinfo. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
I don't know how to segue into our next question. So going back to this idea that you had a certain opinion of AI and tech that changed throughout the course of the book as you were writing the book. It was so interesting because while I was reading the book, I spent the entire time thinking about right brain versus left brain and what is right versus wrong in accessing your magic. Why is it that the perception is that technology is cold compared to theater, music, art, and saying you're wrong or you can't possibly access your humanity through technology? And, that sent me on a spiral that I found very, very interesting because I'm a writer, I'm a creative person, and that translates into my systems thinking and project management that I do in my work. And it is a very left brain activity. And I wanted to know, by the end of your writing process, was it your intention for the narrative to say, okay, AI, it's complicated, but we can still have human connection or soul connection, regardless of whether or not technology is involved?
Yeah, I don't know that was necessarily a theme that I was going for, but I think that is an interesting one to take from it for sure. I think I was more going for the sort of like anything that humans do is a human thing, right? So coming from the world of software, and it sounds like you guys maybe are either in it or adjacent to it.
Amy's just smart in mathy ways.
Gotcha.
I work at a university.
Okay. Coming from that world, when I was teaching myself to code, the people that I met in that world were so generous and so smart and so sort of warm and forthcoming with just wanting to help you and teach you and like, isn't this cool? We love coding. And it's the same kind of, when you boil it down on like a person by person basis, you just meet people who are so passionate and really love their work and are creative and will spend hours sitting in front of the computer. Like, literally, I mean, I think about this a lot when I'm editing, actually. It is a lot like coding in that I used to sit in front of code and I'd be like, is there a way I can like write this line of code in like a more efficient way? Or is there a way I can do this like more cleverly? And then when you do come up with like a little clever little bit of code, you're like, like, and it's the same sort of feeling as editing a book, honestly. And I think a lot of maybe sort of the same sort of like weird mental, like hyper focus stuff that I kind of do as well. And I met a lot of people like that in coding. And so I wanted to honor them, I guess, a little bit in this book and not just sort of paint in the same way that you paint all the artists with like a different brush, right? We have like Soul and we have Angel and we have Alicia and we have Logan and like all of these people are very different. I wanted to kind of, not that we meet really any tech people, I guess, in the book, but like keep that in mind that the people in tech are, for the most part, the people who work for tech companies are people and love their jobs. And the problem is really, I don't know, Musk and Zuckerberg. Like, I don't know.
No, I think that really comes across, and I really appreciated it. As I mentioned, I work in a university and I've been doing some research on some faculty I need to honor at an event. And I was reading about one faculty member who develops robotics for manufacturing in order to improve the working conditions for humans. And that felt very akin to this of like, people can work in tech, people can be deep in the coding of software, AI, et cetera, but their passion could entirely be driven by a desire to improve humanity, improve something for humanity. And I think that's a really powerful message that in a world of billionaires in tech, not everybody's evil in tech. And I loved that reminder.
Yeah, I think especially right now, everyone hates tech right now. And so I didn't want the book to be that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even with like the term tech bros, right? Like, seeing, look, the book made me swipe right on a guy who works a tech job. It reminded me humanity's everywhere. So
All
we'll
right.
see. We'll see if it turns out. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah. So it's like you kind of say that like sitting in front of your computer is very similar to writing and like with coding. I'm like, again, maybe we're all just humans. Maybe we're all just people out here trying to survive, trying to find things that we love.
Yeah.
So a bit of a shift is going into this conversation of mental health. You mentioned it earlier, and it's like you really have it. Like you really like it is such a in your face thing in your book. However, you also kind of hide it in plain sight too. So it's very much like real world mental health, right? Because with each of your characters, 7 especially masks her loneliness with bravado and humor, but she's not the only one with a rough exterior. In many ways, mental health struggles are very humanizing when they're present in characters. To what extent was the humanizing element the main factor of its inclusion versus some other purposes you felt are important to explore?
It's really funny that you guys picked up on that and think that it was so obvious because I wrote a whole series of dystopian books where mental health is really like the main character, Bird Housley, is explicitly dealing with alcoholism that is fueled by ADHD and autism. And you kind of get, by book 3, you sort of know that and she's literally in therapy. In book 3, she's like on meds. It's a dystopian world where there's a therapist. It was my first series.
I was about to say, I'm like, interesting, good dystopian. How's the health insurance there?
Yeah. And then like books 4 through 6, we switch into the male main character's POV, and he's struggling with a queer identity that he hasn't expressed at all in like books 1 through 3. It's like mental health and drug abuse and like a lot of that stuff is really, really explicit in that series. And so going into DOS/Magic, I was like, well, I'd better not make it all about mental health. But it sounds like it just kind of came out anyway, which I don't know.
I think it was depicted in a way that I get. Like, I mean, Amy and I have gone to therapy for decades. So it's we are like spotters of mental health. But I think that in my mind, you have very gruff characters, and I'll include Soul in here, who is another very abrasive, gruff character. And you can also take the moments of like, oh no, but she's sad. Like, I understand like depression and what that can do to a person. And so it's like, I think sometimes we get characters that are just like a certain brazen kind of way, but without any kind of further development behind it. And I think when it comes to the mental health conversation, you just have to peel back one layer. Like 7's bravado. You just peel her humor, her use of all these things. Peel back one layer and the mental health is there. And so in our mind, it was like, it's not obvious as like, maybe going to therapy in a dystopian world, but it is obvious enough to show the motivations of the character in a way that we really appreciated.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm like a little surprised because it makes me think like, I wonder, I should like examine that in myself probably.
Well, I think it goes back to that idea of wanting to create authentic, compelling characters.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, everyone is struggling with some mental health, something. I actually do. So I do have a list written down somewhere in my notes of like, here's all the diagnoses of all the characters, which I didn't include explicitly, but I do sort of know in my mind. So, yeah.
That's funny. I love that.
I think for us is also, I think what we find recognizable in your characters, we recognize or deal with in our own lives, whether it's ourselves, our friends, etc. So I think for us, we're just very hyper aware. But what I did love, whether intentional or not, this idea, and you kind of allude to it at the end of the first book, that, Soul may not be complying with her purpose anymore. And in a lot of ways, mental health is a human condition. And I love that these wizards are developing human conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was very clever. That's all I got to say.
I'm glad to hear that.
There was one point where you chucho, like Soul uses chucho, and so in Chile, chucha is the term over there, and I don't really hear chucho. And I know people like in Mexico, parts of Mexico, I think Colombia also says chucho, but I'm half Chilean. So when I heard like you have Soul say chucho, and I was like, I actually had to look you up. I'm like, are you Chilean?
I took that. Oh, sorry. Our boat is currently moving and everything's falling over. Yeah. So for me, oh my God, guys, come on. Yeah. Okay. So as far as that goes, I speak some Spanish. I wouldn't say I'm like fluent, but and I've lived in Mexico and Central America for the last like 3-4 years. And also, grew up in California and lived in San Diego for a long time, spent a long time with my band actually going across the border to like Ensenada and Rosarito, which are just south of the border, south of Tijuana. So I wanted that to be in there. That was the Spanish that I was drawing from, like Chicano Spanish from like the border region of California.
Okay. Yeah. It was funny. It was very like if it was like chucha, that would have been like definite more Chilean, but it was
What is
just
it
like
in Chilean? What does it mean?
cunt, essentially.
Oh.
Like essentially, like there's different. I
Mhm.
mean, like that's the passion my family uses it for.
That's good to know. So there is actually a Chilean character in book 2, so maybe I'll throw that in there.
Wait, is there?
Is her
Yeah.
name Jacqueline?
No.
Wait, what's her name?
Unfortunately. I don't want to tell you guys.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
you
don't tell us.
do already know her. She's in book 1.
There was a
but she's
Chilean the
briefly in
whole
book
time. There was a Chilean the whole time. That's really funny. Now I'm gonna have to go back and like determine which one is the Chilean.
I've been clearing out my closet, and it just reminds me I need to shop more at Quince because I am tired of fast fashion.
Quince has your back because they are all about elevated, essential fashion that helps you build a wardrobe that feels timeless. With versatile silhouettes and thoughtful details, they're the kind of style that you will wear again and again. I know that because I see you wear it again and again.
I want what I wear to be effortless, but like in the best way.
Quince has wardrobe staples with quality that's made to last. 100% organic cotton sweaters, premium denim made with stretch for comfort all day. That's what I get because I can't handle tough denim.
I love their luxe cotton cashmere blends that are perfect for the changing seasons and my work wardrobe.
Quince works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen so you don't have to pay for brand markups. They're all about high quality clothing.
Quince uses the highest quality materials like 100% European linen and organic cotton. Everything is built to hold up season after season so that you can wear them again and again. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/booktalk. Here's the thing about New Year's resolutions. Nearly 80% fail by February. And it's not because people lack willpower, it's because they lack data.
Things like leptin resistance, thyroid dysfunction, chronic inflammation, or hormone imbalances
These hidden issues can derail even your best efforts to get healthier or feel better when you realize what's going on.
This year, my focus is really getting my blood work in line, especially when it comes to heart health. That's been a big issue for me, and I know I need to go back and get tested in April. That's exactly why I chose Function. It's the only health platform giving you access to over 160 biomarkers, covering everything from hormones and metabolism to heart health, inflammation, stress markers, and toxins.
You can even add MRI and chest CT imaging, and it's all tracked in one secure place over time. It's the kind of comprehensive view of your health that most people never get to access.
There's a reason why top health leaders are all behind Function. When you stop guessing and start measuring, everything changes. Your health goals actually have a foundation to build on. So this year, don't rely on guesswork. Get your data, track what matters, and make resolutions based on your biology.
Own your health for $365 a year. That's $1 a day. Learn more and join using our link. Visit functionhealth.com/booktalk or use the code BOOKTALK25, that's BOOKTALK25, for a $25 credit toward your membership. Before we wrap up, I think one of the reasons why I was saying earlier on, I think this book should be studied is one of the aspects of this that gave me the greatest joy were all your pop culture references, partially because Jack and I have creative writing degrees, and all of our instructors at this time were like, don't include technology or pop culture references because it dates your stuff. But it's such a part of our everyday life. And I really appreciated that you really dug in, because as someone who works on a college campus in California, I felt like it was this place could have been, where I work every day. And then to find out at the end of the book, some of these Easter eggs are not just pop culture Easter eggs, but they're actual Easter eggs for what's been happening was just chef's kiss for me. So going back to the conversation about Ethernet and whatnot, to what extent were some of the pop culture references because that's the voice you wanted versus you included it and then went back and said this would be really funny to include as foreshadowing that Kurt has magic or whatever the case is?
Yeah, I think it is definitely a case of me just throwing them in and then later on being like, oh, you know what? I could go back and do, reverse engineer my way into a thing. That's really funny to hear that I had no idea that was a thing, that you shouldn't include pop culture references.
We don't recommend going to school for creative writing.
That's so funny because if I had a creative writing degree, probably I would have known that. But having just zero idea, it's the whole book. And in book 2, it's even worse. There's just it's a whole thing in book 2.
There was a bunch of really pretentious men with rules that they decided are important. And it's just a lot of it was a way to stifle creativity. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. No one needs a degree in creativity because it just kills your imagination and your ability to be creative. So good for you for not having a creative writing degree. I think that what you've accomplished is something that people can look back on and say, oh, I have an understanding of that time period outside of movies that may or may not portray things accurately. I felt like you really captured the essence of what it means to be a millennial in this for some of us and how we interact with pop culture and each other and create human connection.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, because I did have the same sort of thought about an instinctive thought of this is really, because all the music references are so dated, because I'm a millennial also who was raised on classic rock.
Mm-hmm.
So my music references aren't even they're The Who and Led Zeppelin, And then the other thing is that because the book is about AI is moving so fast right now that literally references in the book were already out of date when it printed. So I finished the book in 2024, I think, the summer of 2024, and it didn't come out until 2025. But I couldn't really do anything because it had already been sent to the publisher. So I think there's a bit in there about how AI can't draw fingers. And there's one other
Or
reference I can't
strawberry.
remember.
Can't spell strawberry.
Yeah, and I'm like, now AI can draw fingers. Like by the time the book came out, I was like, God damn it! Like, I guess that's the problem of like writing about something so topical.
But what's smart is that you did it so that the real world is in 2032. So,
Yes.
you know, like you kind of solved that moment of like, well, this is in fact a moment in time. So it doesn't matter where we're at in anywhere else because, you know, the quote unquote present is 2032. So you just need to worry about this moment in time that is frozen. We're kind of like, we've gone through all of our questions. So I'm just going to rapid fire thoughts at you.
Sure.
Logan.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a moment when Amy, we were at the gym, and she was like, okay, where are you? And was like, well, everyone's pissing me off except for my precious baby Logan, which means there's something wrong with him. Like, I was like,
Oh, interesting.
It was too early. I mean, comes with like, you know, I've read so many books. Our whole thing is that we take books seriously. So like, I know when it's like, okay, so everyone here is pissing me off except for this good looking man. And then there was another part where Amy was like, where are you now? I'm like, well, they just had really rough sex. And I know that I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable with it. I felt pretty good, but it was...
That actually wasn't my intention at all that you should feel uncomfortable, but that's interesting.
Well, no, trust me, I did not. But it was like, you know, it's one of those moments where it's like, you know, like you can tell it's like more rough than normal. Like it's just like the first like clue. It's one of the clues that we get of like his character, right? Or we later on look at it and go, actually, he was kind of forcing himself on her by conciting with her, right? Again, in my moment, I was like, okay, I know this is like, this is a little bit of a red flag. This is our thing of like, hey, you know, Logan's not who we think he is. I think one more round is fine. Whatever you got to do. Like, you know, we can delay the reveal of him, right? But I'm just doing my rapid fire thoughts. And then Soul was another one of like, I was like, I'm going to have faith in Liz. I'm going to have faith. Like, I know we're going to come back and I'm going to like her. I'm going like, because this woman is pissing me the hell off right now. And then like literally at the last little bit that we got with her, I was like, damn it, you did it. You got me on her side. You got me here with her. Yeah.
Yay.
So those were my rapid fire thoughts.
Yeah. It was hard like writing, honestly. So as far as Logan goes, interestingly enough, I didn't actually have all that stuff about him really until the end when I was like all the stuff with like the mind control and the telepathy and all that kind of stuff was one of those things that kind of came together as the book progressed.
Yeah.
But then I don't write the sex scenes usually until after the whole book is done. So by the time I came to write the sex scenes, I knew that. And so it was really difficult to write those scenes because I was like, well, these have to be like fun and charming and we all have to be on board with Logan, but I kind of fucking hate this guy. And so it was very weird to be like, this is a rape. I'm writing a rape and it's like a fun time we're having. Great. Like,
I mean, and that like, so that's what I mean when you set the tone off just right where there were enough warning bells. Actually, when she was like, we never had sex in your bed, I was like, no, he's a horrible man. I've dated this man before. What like he refuses to go in your bed. And then like he does take her to bed, and it's like one of the most like aggressive, rough times where I was like, but again, like you did the balance where I was like, okay, well, in hindsight, I know that was not consent. It was a fun time. Unfortunately, you did do a good job with it. I was like, damn it. I was like, I know I'm going to look back at this later. Like, after I read it, I was like, I really enjoyed this thing. And I know it's going to be ruined later for me. Like, I know it's going to be.
That's so interesting. I think in my mind, I was more just like, I want to write I don't know. Maybe I was actually trying to do that now that I think about it. I was like, I want to fuck with the book talk girls a little bit and just be like, I mean, that's kind of what Logan is, right? He's like, it's like me going, oh, you like Cassian from ACOTAR? Okay, well, how about this guy?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to come where I want. Yeah.
God. Oh, I can't believe I wrote that.
No, but I appreciate the special torture that you went through to write those sex scenes. Knowing how he turns out. I enjoyed the scenes as a queer woman. Even I enjoyed the scenes, but I could tell like this is a like
let me take all the tropes that book talkers love. Yeah. Let me put a little bit of lemon juice on it and make it real sour because I'm going to challenge you.
Would we actually like it if a guy did this? Like, would we actually like it if a guy like was suddenly rough and was suddenly very much like this and isn't, this like this aggressive, like, take off your shirt. I'm going to come wherever I want. Don't tell me what to do. And I'm like, but I'm also like, wait, right now it's like, we're supposed to be mad at this. We're supposed to be mad at this. I'm learning a lesson here. Remember the lesson, Jack. But it was, he was like a great character in the sense of like everyone who started on top flipped. I mean, I don't think, again, like I've never like read a book that had me guessing and I was wrong every single step of the way at the very end. Like there was just no way where at first I was like, him and Kurt are brothers. And I was like, no, they're not brothers. They're actually like, I was like reaching for everything, just trying to make something make sense because none of it made sense until it did. And I was like accusing everyone. I was like, the cat's the killer. Like it was.
Well, that's kind of true.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. One of my other theories is that Logan stole the watch and was controlling. Was controlling Dot. That was another one of my theories. Yeah. You had me guessing until the very end where I stopped guessing because I was so jarred and just like, it was like, I don't know where this is anymore.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that's a good thing.
Yeah. It's an excellent thing.
It's an excellent, excellent thing. Yeah. Highly recommend. Oh, last one. Did you ever watch Buffy? The Vampire Slayer?
Yeah.
That's so funny. You're the second person who has mentioned Buffy in relation to this book. I did, yeah.
It was my roommate because she was like, oh, this is like, I was like, I'm reading a cyber witch. And she was like Giles' girlfriend. Like pagan.
Jenny.
Witch. Jenny, like a pagan witch or something.
Techno-pagan.
Yeah. It's so funny. Someone else told me that they were like, oh, it's like Buffy, but with no vampires. I guess because of the found family and sort of all the different characters. And then, but you know what's, I went back recently and I tried to watch Buffy again and I was like, it doesn't quite hit the way it did when I was 12, but
yeah.
It's still great nostalgic memories.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time and for taking an interview from a boat is impressive. I mean, you're rocking.
It's where I live.
That's true. So you're used to the rocking. But
Indeed.
Thank you again so much. I'm so excited that you have already written the second one. I'm so excited that that's going to come out because like, what do we know? Do you know when it's going to come out? Do we know?
I do not. Currently, my agent has the manuscript. So soon? A year?
Okay.
Maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, thank you so much for your candid responses and for humoring us with some of our wild theories on some of the things that you've written. But I genuinely hope that if we have listeners who've listened to this interview before reading it, that they still go ahead and read it because it was a stressful ride, but such a great ride. And I did not realize that it was going to have a sequel until obviously the last few chapters. And I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yay!
Do you want to tell our listeners where they can find you? As much as you hate TikTok?
Okay. So you can find me at my website, lizshipton.com, or on basically all the social medias. I am at Liz Shipton Author. And I'm literally on all of them.
Great. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm so happy to just answer all your questions. And thank you for having such great, insightful questions. It's really just a joy to
Hopefully we'll have you back on for next time and you can help us process the next round of incredible torture you're going to put us through. So
Sure. Yes. I would love
can't
to.
wait. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this special episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Join us as we keep the analysis going by subscribing to our Substack to get more insights into the romantasy and romance genres. Head to the subtextsocietyjournal.substack.com.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm at that age where I'm willing to try anything just for the sake of wellness. And Brello makes finding the right metabolic wellness support easy.
I've been on a GLP-1 for 8 months now. It's been one of the best things that I have done for me. Getting connected to a provider who can give guidance for a GLP-1 can be tricky, but Brello has made the whole experience so straightforward. I knew when I started a GLP-1, I wanted something that was a more sustainable approach to metabolic wellness. And I needed to focus on habits, education, and structure alongside provider insight. And that provider insight is what Brello has offered.
Brello provides transparent pricing with one flat monthly cost. GLP-1 plans start as low as $133 per month with a 3-month commitment.
Brello provides access to a private online community for support and accountability.
I love that they have built-in virtual wellness classes because they range from exercise to nutrition to mindfulness, all of which is important to the metabolic journey.
Brello also has an easy-to-use app to track progress, manage reminders, and stay on top of renewals.
Go to BrelloHealth.com today to see if you qualify. Use the promo code BOOKTALK, BOOKTALK, at checkout to get your first 3 months for $133 per month.
That's BrelloHealth.com and use promo code BOOKTALK, BOOKTALK. All patients must meet with a healthcare provider prior to any medication being prescribed or dispensed. Any medications ultimately dispensed to a patient will be done pursuant to a valid prescription from a healthcare provider. Compounded drug products are not FDA approved. FDA does not evaluate compounded products for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Compounded medications are not reviewed or verified by the FDA for safety, effectiveness, or quality and are not FDA approved. Not available in all 50 states. One of my confessions is that in my 20s, I got docked with overdraft fees all of the time.
The pain of my 20s and overdraft fees.
If we had Chime, everything would have been different.
That's because Chime isn't just another banking app. They unlock smarter banking for everyday people like you and me with products like MyPay.
It's not like old school banks that charge you for overdraft fees or monthly fees. It's built for you, the person, not the 1%.
They even give you access for up to $500 of your paycheck anytime and getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. And some of those old banks still don't do this.
I didn't even know it was an option until the Chime.
Chime helps you build your credit history stress-free because you're using your cash to build that credit.
Earn up to 3% APY on savings. Also, you guys don't understand how great that is because it is 7 times higher than traditional banks. Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who already bank fee-free today.
It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/booktalk. That's chime.com/BOOKTALK.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
I've been clearing out my closet, and it just reminds me I need to shop more at Quince because I am tired of fast fashion.
Quince has your back because they are all about elevated, essential fashion that helps you build a wardrobe that feels timeless. With versatile silhouettes and thoughtful details, they're the kind of style that you will wear again and again. I know that because I see you wear it again and again.
I want what I wear to be effortless, but like in the best way.
Quince has wardrobe staples with quality that's made to last. 100% organic cotton sweaters, premium denim made with stretch for comfort all day. That's what I get because I can't handle tough denim.
I love their luxe cotton cashmere blends that are perfect for the changing seasons and my work wardrobe.
Quince works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen so you don't have to pay for brand markups. They're all about high quality clothing clothing.
Quince uses the highest quality materials like 100% European linen and organic cotton. Everything is built to hold up season after season so that you can wear them again and again. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/booktalk.